Good morning.
Today's date is December, oh, no, it's not, because we were supposed to do it in
January 5th.
January the 5th, 2016. My name is Carolyn Tillman, and I am interviewing Lea Michelle Cash for the Archiving Black History in the Inland Empire project. Her name is spelled first name Lea, middle name Michelle,
Yes.
Cash,
Mm-hmm.
Cash. We're interviewing here at the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools office in the city of San Bernardino, California. Thank you, Lea, for taking out the time to conduct this interview with us.
It's an honor.
Lea, I want to start by just asking you if your roots weren't birthed here in San Bernardino. Can you give us a little background to your roots and your journey here to San Bernardino?
Okay, I was raised in Boston, Massachusetts, really Brighton, Massachusetts, which is a small little town in a suburb town that's in Boston. And I moved here in 1975 with the ambition to go to Hollywood because I was always going to be an entertainment reporter, because that was what my dream was when I was young, since I was 9 years old, to be an entertainment reporter. I used to read all the entertainment magazines and have them pasted all over my walls, and with Boston, Massachusetts being a million miles away from California, it was what I dreamed about. So I moved here in 1995 with the expectations of becoming a newspaper reporter, but I got sidetracked. What happened was I met my husband, and when I met my husband, we got married. And soon after getting married, I started having the babies. Baby number 1, baby number 2, baby number 3, and baby number 4. So my dreams of being an entertainment writer, they were put on the back burner. Even though I was still writing, because I would do some like little freelance articles. I think there was one that I did in Mother's Monthly News and little things like that I did. And there was one that I did, I think, for the Chino Champion, you know, it was just little stuff, but it wasn't the dream. And then I also had another dream, because as a teenager, at the age of 16, I wanted to be a foster parent, and I tried to convince my mother and father to be foster parents too. But they had 6 children of their own and did not wish to be foster parents, so I was not successful with convincing them, but it always stayed in my heart, and I found ways in my community to help out anyone that was a foster parent and any child that was in need. So those were the 2 loves that I had. So then when I moved here in 1975, met my husband. Even though I didn't become an entertainment reporter, I did become a foster parent when I was grown and got married. And so my ex-husband and I, we were foster parents for 8 years. So I still fulfilled that dream of being a foster parent. So 12 years of marriage went by, and unfortunately I became a victim of the divorce wars. I have 4 little kids, and I never saw it coming, the divorce. So I never thought it would happen to me. And it did. So I remember curling up and like in a fetal position, and it was really the ugly cry, trying to figure out, you know, what was I going to do with my life? How did I get so sidetracked? How did I lose me? Because I had known what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be for all my life. So that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to really pursue this writing thing and go back to being a writer and entertainment reporter, and I'll volunteer in doing the foster parent stuff. And so what I did was, even with my 4 children, I volunteered at LA County's McLaren Hall every Sunday. I was there volunteering. So half of my heart was touching that basis. And so then I said, now how am I going to fulfill the writing? And I happened to be taking my son to go get his haircut. And there was the San Bernardino American News in the barbershop. And I picked up that newspaper and I started reading it, and I went, you know what, maybe I know where this is. Let me just, go over there and see if they would mind having someone, do stories from time to time. And so that's what I did. And the first person that I met was Mr. Sam Martin. He was very loving. He was very excited to see me. And he was like a fatherly figure and encouraged me to do my dream and encouraged me to write and encouraged me to take pictures and do all of the things that I wanted to do. So I kind of just like had free reign. And I remember I took this photo of 2 African American kids. They were laying on the grass. And I thought that photo was beautiful, and I showed it to him, and he put it on the front page of the American News. Boy, you could not tell me nothing. I had arrived. It was just a photo, but it was my photo, and I was so happy. And I'll never forget that. I just remember just looking at it and just going, oh, this is it, And so then from San Bernardino American News, then I met Hardy and Cheryl Brown in Black Voice News. And then I could do, for Mr. Martin, I could volunteer. For Black Voice News, I could volunteer. And then that led me to Precinct Reporter, and Precinct Reporter was paying. So I got a little bit of training in San Bernardino American News. I got a little bit of training from Black Voice News, but I headed over to meet Brian Townsend at the Precinct Reporter. And so I remember sitting there in the interview with Brian, and he said, yeah, we could, he was less interested in entertainment news, more interested in community news, what was going on in the San Bernardino County area. So he told me, okay, we could use you, we'll try you out. And the rest was history. And I remained close to Mr. Martin. I certainly remained close to Cheryl and Hardy Brown in Black Voice News, but my home became Precinct Reporter because Precinct Reporter was willing to pay. And so therefore, that started the process of going down in the trenches. And when I went down in the trenches, I saw how beautiful our county is in the African American culture. One dot connects you to another dot, connects you to another dot, connects you to another dot. If anybody moves here to the Inland Empire, all they have to do is pick up all the African American newspapers, and they'll find out who the leaders are, or they'll find out what stories are going on in the Black community, in our community, because it's all there. It plays itself out in the newspapers. And so in order to tell those stories, you've got to find those people. You've got to get to know those people. There are, sometimes I often feel that people might find a good paying job in the Inland Empire or in San Bernardino County and come from somewhere else it's going to take them at least a good 6 months to a year to figure out the 8 circles. Because there are several circles within our community, and not everybody belongs to all the circles. But me, being a newspaper reporter, and the other reporters, we can travel and weave in and out of all of the 8 circles. And that was the beauty that I saw with being a newspaper reporter in San Bernardino County, was to be able to get to know, build relationships, and to understand all of the different circles of African Americans, because there's many in our county.
It's clear that you're,
Oh, look at her. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause we want that, like, soft.
Okay.
ready? Leah, it's clear that your relationships with Sam Martin, with Cheryl and Art Brown,
Mhm.
and with Brian Townsend,
Mhm.
through your work with the newspapers, did a lot to inspire you and get you started on the road to your dream.
Mm-hmm.
What other community heroes, sheroes, did you introduce yourself to or were made known to you that have inspired your work?
Okay.
as well?
So as I navigated personally through all the circles, I discovered my heroes. And some of my heroes are Dr. Mildred Henry, Georgia Floyd Morris. And because of them, they nurtured me and they mentored me. And watching them build their dreams and do the things that they did in the community regarding them always helped and inspired me regarding my dream.
Tell me a little bit about Dr. Mildred Henry.
Dr. Mildred Henry was a little spitfire. This amazing woman that came from completely humble beginnings only wanted to help young people be the best that they could be. And she 100% believed in education. And so because of that, when she started the Provisional Accelerated Learning Center from scratch and never gave up, dared to do the impossible, then all of that stuff transpired on those of us who that she adopted. And you'll find that many of the heroes and sheroes that are in the community of San Bernardino County have many adopted children. And those of us who have risen to leadership or risen to the point of fulfilling our dreams is because of the fact that we have been mentored. Yikes. I completely forgot about the phone.
What's your intention?
For what? Where is it? Here, let me turn it off.
You get a real more direct look at me.
I think we're like too close to the camera, and it looks
I
like she's
think-
going forward.
I
to
think
the
her history in entertainment makes her
Straight-
comfortable
straight
to
on,
look into the
yeah.
camera.
Oh, so, oh,
Yeah, we want you to look.
oh, you want me to look?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
oh,
you're being interviewed.
oh, okay. Oh, well, I will, oh, because I've been looking into the
Yes,
camera.
because you're comfortable. No, and you're very natural at it, so it's not bad. But
Oh, okay, Carolyn, I'm sorry, I'll look at you. Okay, so,
being in the entertainment world.
okay, so because of Dr. Henry, and because of being able to navigate throughout all the circles, then, and getting to know what was actually going on in the community, and also being an advocate for volunteerism, 100%. I just started connecting to the organizations that are in San Bernardino County. And the two organizations that I connected with was San Bernardino Black Culture Foundation. And the reason why I connected with San Bernardino Black Culture Foundation was because of the regular parade that we had on the west side. And I had heard that they had difficulty with trying to get celebs to come out here. And so then, with me dabbling a little bit in Hollywood as I was doing, you know, because Brian would allow me or let me do some entertainment reporting, you know, I started connecting with a lot of celebs on the carpet and started connecting with a lot of the media people. And so then that was a really good, easy fit in regards to helping San Bernardino Black Culture Foundation nab their celebrities for our parade that we had. And then the other organization that I became involved with was with the National Council of Negro Women. And in that organization, mostly the African American women who were trying to really do something for the community, whatever it is, because it's a whole diverse variety of women coming from all types of educational backgrounds and just humble backgrounds, you know. So therefore, it was a rounding out of who do you want to be in life? What do you want to do in life? How am I going to inspire my children? Or how can I inspire this child or any child or, you know, in this community that we serve? And that's basically how it evolved. And how I met Georgia Morris was because she received the Black Rose Award. And I remember watching her story on the big screen because she received the Humanitarian Award. And I could feel like the tear travel through my neck. You know, just come up through my neck. Yeah. Just come up, and the tears just popped out. And it's like you can read stories, you know, about women like this, but here I have one in my community. Oh, you know, this amazing woman. Oh my goodness. And I met her that night when she got that award. And it was like the following week, I set an appointment up with her at her home. And you know how her home, every room in her house was a different culture. There's the Indian room. There was the AKA room. There is the yellow and black room. I'm forgetting the name of her alma mater because she was a diehard of her alma mater. There was the Oval Office where she had a trillion, million, billion awards. And then there was the African American room, which was the socializing room. And so therefore, when I went to her house that following week, from that day forth, we became very, 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 very close. And when she passed away, the gift that was given to me, and I can get a little emotional, was a binder of stuff that she had collected from me since our beginning. And it was a fat binder. And on the cover of the binder, she had my name And she said, Lea Michelle Cash, a success story. And so that was my gift.
Beautiful.
That was my gift from her. All my old articles. I mean, she had been cutting and clipping and keeping and amazing. That was an amazing woman. And and then I had the privilege of going with her back to her hometown and met, her old classroom kids, and they're grown up now. I'm completely forgetting, but it's in Georgia. I flew back with her, and she invited me to go. It was her class reunion, but she told me some stories I'm going to tell you, and so those were my two sheroes that I really latched onto, and that I really feel loved me and loved me and nurtured me. And I think about Oprah sometimes, where she says, where with Maya Angelou, that she sat at, she could like sit at Maya's knee and, and just put your head on her knee and just stay there with all the wisdom that woman could bestow upon her. But that's the way I feel about Georgia Morris and Dr. Henry. I can put my head on them, on their knee, and just, go into the ugly cry, boo-hoo, just let So,
talk about that inspiration that you received from those women.
Yes.
And how it ties into your work with your nonprofit organization, the Brightest
Star. Well, I wanted to write a children's book, and the children's book that I wrote, The Strawberry Pot, that was inspired by Georgia Morris. And so when I told her my dream, my dream is basically working with abused and abandoned children. It has always been. So she would say to me, well, what are you going to do about that? And because I would talk to Georgia Morris more about that than I did with Dr. Henry. Dr. Henry, I talked more about community stuff, things that were going on in the community, and how we can inspire. And so when I was covering a story for Black Voice, I think it was Black Voice. It was the Governor's Women's Conference. And there was a lot of inspiration that was going on at that conference. And the Nobel Peace Prize winner, I cannot think of his name right now, but he was the one who in India had started a small bank with $10, $20 with women. He would loan them the $20 for them to be able to find something worthy that they could do with that $20 to help their family, and the whole thing mushroomed. Well, I personally got to meet him when I was doing the story, and I remember him holding my hand and him saying to me, if you got a dream, you should fulfill your dream and fulfill your purpose and your life purpose, and just don't keep talking about it. Just go ahead and do it. So, and I remember on the drive home saying, I have talked about doing the Brightest Star for as long as I possibly can remember. Nobody wants to hear about it even no more. Now it's time. If this man with no resources can follow his dream and do it with the bigger picture of an empowering women, I know that my self-esteem building, which a lot of people want to talk about with abused and abandoned kids, is always a sentence or something in a proposal, but they just don't really work on it. I know what I could do. So therefore, I just started really praying about it. And in that prayer, it was to help me, start doing what I needed to do and stay on track with the Brightest Star. And that became history too. Within 3 months, the nonprofit status came within 3 months. That was almost unheard of because everybody always tells me it takes 6 months to a year. They send it back and send it, I didn't go through none of that. It went right through. So I knew that was a blessing. And then, with going back to school, because I did go back to school at Cal State and San Bernardino, and learning everything that I did there because I got a master's degree in public administration. And then I started working on my second master's, and I completed all the master program in communication, and then winded up finally working on the thesis. So I will have 2 degrees, a master's in public administration and then the master's in communication. And so therefore, with all of that knowledge and all of that ability, I started moving the Brightest Star forward. But it was a lot of hard work. It's very difficult and very easy because 1, when you know it's your purpose, 2, when you know it's fulfilling your dream, 3, and you know that you're changing lives, and then number 4, when you have a support system under you, how could you fail? So that's basically it. So I was mixing and growing in the entertainment world, getting to know all those folks, and then starting the Brightest Star, and my kids are getting bigger and growing right before my eyes, and next thing I know, everything just mushroomed. And how many jobs did I have? Probably like a good 20. Button up in the mall. All kinds of ways to find ways to financially make ends meet. Did I ever have like that real, grassroots, good job, paying job, where I've been there for a long time? No, that I haven't been fortunate to do that yet, but I have had many jobs, and I have tried to stay in my lane, either with abused and abandoned children or with newspaper reporting.
Now I'm going to ask you, between the work in the community that you've done and the work with the Brightest Star, can you come up with something that really makes you proud, something that you participated in, some event, some project that just stands out that you'd like to share?
Okay, there's 2 things. I will bring up the Brightest Star one, but the main one, one of the main ones has to do with the Black Culture Foundation. I was reading the Jet magazine when I saw the picture of Osceola McCartney, the washerwoman. See, it gets me when, just like it hit me with Georgia Morris when I saw her story on screen, that hit me of this 86-year-old woman, no education, quit school to help her mother in 6th grade, and she washed clothes all her life and saved the money, and then donated $250,000, $250,000 to the university so someone else could get an education. Who does that? So then I said, there is no better person on this planet to be our next Grand Marshal for our Black History Parade. What a woman! And I didn't know very much about her. I just started researching stuff about her. And within 6 months, she gets the Congressional Medal of Honor from President Clinton. That all mushrooms. And she's going to drop the year ball. She drops the New Year ball that year. That all mushrooms. And I'm going, I got to find a way to get to this woman so she could be our Grand Marshal. So I start calling Ole Miss because she's from Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and that's where she donated the money to Ole Miss. And so they turned me over to the PR person at the university. And we strike up a conversation, and we become friends first. I tell him what I want to do, but they're not sure of it. It took me, I was calling him like regularly, and over a 2-week process, we became friends on the phone. He started to trust me. And in that trusting, he decided to help us out with getting her here to be our parade. And I remember doing that. He said, well, because this is her first time when she went to go get her Congressional Medal of Honor, she caught the train to Washington, D.C. from Mississippi. She did not catch a plane. She took the train. We were putting her on a plane. So there was some convincing that had to be done. Because of that 2 weeks of relationship building, how strong relationship building is, he helped us out with trying to convince her to get on the plane to fly to California. And we had her for 3 days. And once Southern California knew that this woman was coming to San Bernardino, California, Southern California went berserk. I was handling 100 phone calls a day, people trying to snab her from us, trying to pull her or trying to find a way to fit in their schedule or this, that, and the other. So and with Black Culture Foundation, it was going to be a lot of money for her airfare. So I turned to Brian Townsend and I turned to Dr. Henry. And Dr. Henry covered it, her airfare here to San Bernardino. And when all the newspaper reporters, when that plane pulled in, because it was post 911, because we could still go to Ontario Airport and be there when the planes pulled in. We had all the kids from the PAL Center with their signs. And we were all standing there when the plane pulled up, and she came off the plane and she started crying, and the LA Times and the San Bernardino Sun all captured her, getting her roses from the kids, and she was all choked up and stuff. I'll never forget that. That was a wonderful day for San Bernardino because it reached north, south, east, west. All cultures showed out for this woman, this humble woman that had just got a Congressional Medal of Honor from President Clinton and had also been the one who dropped the New Year ball because of this donation out of love and washing people's clothes. She would charge them, it would go $6 a bundle, then it went to $10 a bundle. And iron them. It's just amazing. Just amazing. And saved all that money, and it's accumulating and accumulating and accumulating in the bank. So that was a major accomplishment for me, I felt, but it was a major accomplishment for our city of San Bernardino, because regardless of who you, all the heads of state, everybody, everybody was there. And then we only ordered, we were supposed to order maybe just 300 books, 300 of her books. And I said, no, we better not. We better order, we better order maybe like 500 books. Them things flew out of there. And it was with Phoenix Bookstore, who did the book signing, and the line went around the bend. So that was the one, that was a great day in San Bernardino, because of the fact that it wasn't about Black history, even though it was during Black History Month. It was about history and sharing someone of her stamina with everybody, so that they could have the opportunity to meet such a wonderful woman and not just read about her.
Yeah, it's a great day.
It was. It was.
Great.
And so now with Brightest Star, oh my goodness, there's so many. I don't really know where to do justice with the Brightest Star, because there's been many opportunities that I've done with the Brightest Star. But one that I want to bring up is when Supervisor Josie Gonzalez, she had a small stipend that she was giving to organizations. It was a grant, and you had to compete for it. Well, the Brightest Star was awarded this small grant, and it was building self-esteem, and we had to do it in the rural areas. And so there is a foster home that's in Bloomington. And so with that foster home, I worked with 6 girls. And out of those 6 girls, it was self-esteem building and trying to change their lives and to get them to believe in their self-worth and believe in themselves. Now, at the end of the workshop, I had a surprise for them. They were going to go on the set of American Idol, and they were going to, be able to meet, Randy and, the contestants and this, that, and the other. So I took them to LA, and they did that. And one of the young ladies who was having a particularly very hard time because she was abandoned. She was abandoned at age 9, 10, and now, she's 15, 16. So she's hating her life and everything in it. And the therapist, they're finding it hard to reach her because she's just not letting nobody in, period. So she gets to meet Seacrest. She gets to meet Ryan Seacrest. And she loses it. She's so happy. And I have the camera on him, and I'm snapping the picture, seeing her joy. And I kid you not, it was not even 5 minutes later, I'm sitting on the curb rocking her, because it all stemmed back to when she was 9 and 10. Why did my mother leave me? The joy came out of her that she had been holding in, and she couldn't hold it in when she saw Ryan Seacrest. She just let it all break out. And then she got angry at herself because she wants to hate herself because she's holding negative thoughts and this, that, and the other, and she couldn't have any more negative thoughts. And I'm rocking her because she's crying about, I was a good girl. Why did my mommy leave me? Right after that experience. So all of that stuff that she let out on the sidewalk, rocking. I could turn over to her therapist so that they could help her. I'll never forget. And people are walking by, they have no idea what's going on with this 15, 16-year-old, stemming from something when she was 9. And then out of that group was another young lady, an African-American lady, who was very, very difficult. And now I got a call from Assembly Member Cheryl Brown, and she says, Lea, there's some foster youth that are up here in Sacramento, and they're talking about you. She called me, she left a message on my phone and told me that. She says, I don't know what their names are, but because, you know, the foster youth, I guess for Foster Youth Day up in Sacramento, you know, they can volunteer or do whatever in the elected official's office. Well, one of the foster youth that was in that workshop was in her office and saw me and Cheryl's picture in her office, and she was going, oh, that's Miss Cash, and she was telling her all of the stuff that she had learned. Now, the reason why I bring her up is because that workshop changed her life because of helping her get through her anger and believing in herself, because she's a lawyer type. She's one of those, she just reeks lawyer. And finally, you know, she started believing in herself, and so now she's in law school. I mean, she's doing it all. And I see her now, and my mouth just drops, remembering back to those important moments of when you have got to reach their heart to build self-worth, which is always so combed over. It's easier said than done. So those 2 milestones with the Brightest Star, even though the Brightest Star in 8 years has done quite a bit behind the scenes that a lot of people are not aware of and don't know, has truly been a blessing. And so then with doing the entertainment reporting, that has been a blessing too. So all of it put together has made me really love. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And I always consider it so important that, like, if anything happens in our county or in our city, that I know those people who are standing on the stage. You know, I know those people who, you know, this is just not some flyby or just somebody, you know, I know them, you know, and so many people, it's gone up to, how many, what's our population? It's close, a little over 100,000 in San Bernardino. I don't know how many is in the county, but they don't take the time to get to know who the leaders are in their community. So, you know, unless something goes wrong, and then they go, you know, in search. But the thing that is so beautiful about the Black population in our county is you can find them. They're not hard to find. The leaders in Hispanic community, you could find them. They're not hard to find. Indian, you could find them. They're not hard to find.
So I get the impression that you're traveling in more than 8 circles, Lea. And also the impression that you have, your significant work has been done a lot undercover, that you really haven't, you don't mind who gets the credit.
No.
You do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get closer to the end of our interview, I just kind of would like your philosophy, if you or someone's watching this
Okay.
50 years from now,
Mhm.
and they're interested in supporting their communities.
Mhm.
They're interested in learning more about the history of this community. What kind of philosophy or character traits can you share that that make you do what you do?
Okay. I heard it once where it was said, it's like creating some gumbo or a pot of stew. The pot of stew or the gumbo is your dream, your purpose. So what you do is you look around to see who's going to help you cut up the vegetables or whatever it is that you're going to put in your stew. And you can't create the stew without first finding out who you are and what your purpose is and what you actually want to do. And that's a quiet and a still time. Nobody can help you with that except for you coming to a decision yourself. And then in that decision, moving towards those who can help you with whatever it is. So whether it's volunteering, whether it's finding a career, whatever it is that is in your community. It could be just even at your local elementary school that your child goes to, finding out from the principal what that school needs. It doesn't matter. It's just find out what your purpose and what your mission is, and create that good bowl of soup. Because when it starts simmering and it starts smelling good, nobody can be more happier than you.
Very good. Is there anything that you want to leave on this tape?
I would like to leave the importance of giving back and the importance of mentoring and giving somebody not a handout, giving somebody a hand up. It could be small or large, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it builds your self-worth. And I really believe in dream building, and I really believe in the fact that everyone has a dream. They may not know what it is, or may not even think that it's worthy of, being fulfilled because they think they're too old, or whatever it is that they think about themselves. But trust me, dare to dream, build on your dream, because at the end of the day, live with no regrets. Live with no regrets. That's what I feel is really important, is living with no regrets.
Is writing a gift for you?
I keep asking God that. Is this my gift? Is this my gift? Because I haven't bought into that. My gift that I did buy into was rocking that 16-year-old on the curve and and then being able to cry with it. And that whole time I was in prayer to thank you, God. Oh, thank you. I know in my whole heart that this is my purpose. But for writing, I haven't felt that. But I do know it does have to do with writing, because some people, I met this lady once, an African-American lady. I was getting my car repaired, and she was sitting in the waiting room with me, and I just struck up a conversation with her, And I told her my name, and she said, Lea? She said, are you the one who writes for the Precinct Reporter, Lea? And I said, yes. You know, my friend, yeah, that's me. And she said, girl, she said, I don't go out anymore, but I read your Al Green article. She said, you put me right there. She said, I lived on every word that you said in that article because I can't get out anymore regarding that Al Green concert. Because and so I listened to her, and I started taking in what others were saying to me, and they do say that to me more. They feel like they were there. Like I write like emotional, putting people there so that they could actually get a feel of what it is that is going on. And that's why Patty LaBelle, she nicknamed me Crybaby, because when I'm with Patty, the county of San Bernardino is there with me. I just swell up because they're not there with me. So sometimes when you're in the height of something wonderful, nothing can come but tears and emotion, because how can you share this with, you want to share, who can I get on the phone? Who am I going to, because I'm always calling somebody on the phone so a celebrity could talk to them. I'm always doing that, because I'm just sharing the moment, because it's not about me, even though the gift comes to me, but I don't hold on to it. It's time to share it. So I've done that quite a bit. So basically, those are the
Sounds like
those are the
writing
things.
is the gift, and the gift is the vehicle that gets you to your purpose. Because ultimately, with that writing has been the relationship building that gets you to network, to help the people that you
Need to help, because I have to do both. I either volunteer in one, work in the other. Work in one, volunteer in the other. So I have to do both. I cannot not do one and not the other.
Well, it appears as though it is very, it's a high point in your stories as you tell them. I mean, it's what initiated and started you to even get you here. It is what you identified as something that you sort of let down while you were concentrating on family, et cetera. And when you were challenged
in the beginning.
to go back to it, it just does seem to be the way the gift
Is going.
to push you forward. Well, I have enjoyed this conversation, as I do all conversations.
All
with
conversation.
Leah. Thank you
Okay.
for giving us of your time.
Okay.
And then they want me to wait a few seconds while the camcorder turns on, and I'm going to do that. Thank you. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. I hope that was worth it.